thing later on when remember he changes a spell where everyone will forget who he is completely because the other two Spider-Men basically just met him. Do you feel that maybe down the line Sony or Marvel could touch upon it and them meeting again? The three
If they run out of ideas, yeah.
Yeah, if they,
Yeah,
I mean,
actually, they already said they're open to the idea of bringing those guys back. They officially said
Right.
they're open to the idea of bringing those guys back. So there's your answer. Yes.
I mean,
Gotta do it,
yeah, like,
you know?
I mean, again, like, it'd be interesting to see a older Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. It'd be nice, but I mean, at the same time, it's like now we're really watering down the brand. Like now we not only have the Holland Spider-Man, but now we have all the other ones. Yes. No, like, but
yeah, I hope.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Rich.
Oh no, I just was going to say I have a quick question. I was going to ask.
Oh, is it a controversial one?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be too controversial since it was
Too
addressed in the movie.
Oh,
Do y'all think that they will, if they run out of ideas, will they explore the idea of Ned becoming a villain? Because I thought it was an interesting interaction he had with Tom Holland, where he said, "Oh yeah, I will never turn on you," and all this other stuff, and it was an awkward silence.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Rich?
Yeah.
Have you seen that character in real life? Like, or that person in real life?
Well,
Like he doesn't have the long hair. He's bald, and I'm like, yo, he looks like the way he looks. I'm like, he can make a villain.
I thought Carlos was going to say he looks like the Hobgoblin.
Well, yeah, that's who Ned Leeds is in the comics.
Yeah,
Ned Leeds is the Hobgoblin. So that's why when he said that, it's like, oh yeah, like I'll never turn on you. It's like, and me and Tony laughed because we knew that Ned is the Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin. Yeah,
I
exactly.
knew that too. And he's like, "Oh, I'll never turn on you." I'm like, I know who you are.
I mean, now Ned can become a villain because
He doesn't know him. They don't have a
He doesn't
connection.
know him.
Yeah.
I'm looking up his name because I don't know. It's Jacob.
So kind of-
Batalon?
Jacob Batalon.
Yeah, he's bald
Man,
headed.
it's
He lost a whole bunch of weight too, so
he's not.
Oh no, he may be Filipino.
No,
He's
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 Asian.
Filipino. That was his
Filipino.
mom.
Yeah,
His mom was
that's
Filipino.
our people. You already know. They're our cousins, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does look like a villain. Oh shit.
He does. Like, it's the hair that makes him look like a kid and like kind of innocent. But if he without the hair, he's like he looks
And
tough.
skinnier, and he is skinnier too. Shit.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I like that guy. He's a good actor. I like that guy.
So kind of because no one knows who Spider-Man is or Peter Parker is in this universe, that opens the doors to a lot of different possibilities. What would you guys like to see happen? Because we don't know where this is going.
All right.
We know there's a 4.
We already touched on this, but I'm going to get on it. I'm pretty sure I'm speaking to a lot of people. That's my favorite part of this movie, that this cleans the entire slate. No more Star Tech, no more Secret Identity, none of that. It's just Spider-Man doing his thing. So even though I feel this movie was heavily contrived, that'll be a good thing if we eventually get an actual Spider-Man movie trilogy. That's just Spider-Man. Yes, it's still in the MCU. We're still gonna have Avengers in the background somewhere or whatever. That's fine, but his own movie. So I think that's good. Just the fact that you saw him in his costume, and it looked great, by the way. Even though
it looked really good, yeah.
It looked really fucking dope. And then reestablish that relationship with what's her name? Is Michelle Jane Watson or something like that. That's not Mary Jane, right? That's good. Reestablish that. And then with Ned, like we talked about, get him as the Hobgoblin. So there's opportunities there. So that does excite me because I do like Tom Holland. I think he's a good actor. I enjoyed. I don't think here's the thing. I have issues with every version of the live action Spider-Mans, but I'm with Carlos that he does bring the best of both worlds to an extent, right? So I do want to see him keep doing his thing, and I know he's open to keep doing it. Brings Zendaya back; she's actually pretty good, and then just keep that going. So I'm with that. I like that. It's a fresh start because we never had a proper Spider-Man. It was always like Tony Stark and Spider-Man. It always felt like that.
Nick Fury and Spider-Man.
Nick Fury and Spider-Man. Yeah. And this one is just like, hey, remember all these other movies, So yeah, so that is good. I am excited about that. And like Chris said, this is the best Phase 4 MCU movie. That's not saying a lot because Phase 4 has been trash, but it is. It's like despite how because again, I cannot let go of how contrived this whole thing, how forced it all felt. But at least it didn't anger me like the other MCU shit I've seen. It's just I kind of just left like, oh, really, they could have done that better. But I see what they were trying to go for, and I could appreciate that. But it wasn't like Black Widow slogging through that shit, or fucking Loki, or the disappointment of the Falcon show that I liked initially until they fucked it up, So, and then Eternals, haven't seen it. I will see it. It's gonna be fucking trash. I already know it's gonna be bullshit, And then Shang-Chi, I almost forgot about Shang-Chi. That's how much of an impact it left on me. I already forgot the movie. I just remember it had CG, too much CG, But yeah, so I'm hopeful for the future of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, for sure.
And also you bring up a good point with everyone's forgotten about him, so they're kind of and sort of the larger narrative that was discussed at the beginning of this, how maybe Sony and the MCU are kind of falling apart a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's why they did the whole Venom, the symbiote kind of thing lurking around, because they probably want to do a Venom with this universe. Also, we still have yet to tackle on Miles Morales in this universe.
That's going to happen eventually. I guarantee you that. I'm
pretty sure that'll happen in the next movie.
They touched upon it in other movies.
They have to. They have to because Tom Holland is not going to be there forever. He's getting too. He's Nathan Drake now.
Yeah.
You did have what's his face, Gambino showing up in
Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino showing up in the previous movie. You could literally put the Prowler in the movie.
Well, I mean, he'll make a great Prowler. Yeah, because at first people were saying that he would have been Miles, but I'm like, nah, he's too old. He's almost 40.
Too old, yeah. The thing with Holland is you could keep him being like a teenager for a long time. That guy's going to look like that for a long time. I guarantee you that. He's like Michael J. Fox in that respect,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He always looks.
But that also means he's never going to look older as Nathan Drake. He people go, oh, he just has to get older. He's like, dude, the guy's like 25. He's not going to look any older than that,
Yeah.
He's just one of those faces, man. Anyway.
Any other people? Mr. Richard, you want to jump in here? Thoughts for what you want for the continued MCU?
Well, I believe y'all have already touched on it. I guess we're going to get Venom based on that mid-credit scene, to some effect. I want to see that. I believe that Kraven the Hunter, a possibility. The Sinister Six. We know that the Morbius movie is coming out in January, know that what's his name, Vulture is actually in that movie. So I'm assuming that at some point they're going to try to do a crossover with that character too.
And I saw that trailer. Over, they announced it's going to cross over.
We'll say what?
They announced it's going to cross over. Morbius is going to actually feature Venom in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? So Morbius is in Tom Holland's Spider-Man's universe because of his connection to Michael Keaton's Vulture, but Tom Hardy isn't, based on the mid-credit scene.
That was very.
But he's in the what? That doesn't make any sense.
None.
That was confusing. Miss Dana Abercrombie, do you have an explanation for this?
I don't have any explanations for nothing. No one explains anything to me. No, I know that they said.
Yeah, Dana, we didn't get the memo either, so don't feel bad.
Okay, I don't know. It's weird, but so that was everyone got to speak. Oh, sorry.
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, go ahead, Manny. What do you want for the future Spider-Man?
Well, again, now he's done with being the dependent Spider-Man, and now he can actually become his own Spider-Man and have finally have his own villains instead of inherited villains from other franchises, or other versions of the franchise. Hopefully, we get to see him become like, a full-on character and having to solve fully solve a problem on his own instead of having to use the crutches of other characters, other more adult characters. So we'll see. I mean, maybe the next movie will be him in college. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, are they going to go down the line of the Sinister Six? I mean, does that mean we're going to see like how do you even develop that? Like, if you're going to do the Sinister Six, he kind of already did the Sinister Six in this one, Then now we're going down the road of trying to establish the other 6 villains from the movies. So we'll see. Maybe they might just go down, the road of us, try to look through his rogue gallery of characters they haven't done yet. Richard said that Craven, you could probably do Craven, maybe the Catalyst, maybe all this because remember, like they don't go into fully detail as to how everybody forgot that Spider-Man, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. We know that, or forgot Spider Parker. But the thing is that none of that doesn't mean that the information isn't there. Like in our world, he wouldn't be able to buy an apartment, or go for the SAT or the or get because he did have a lot of that stuff with him at the end of the movie where he was trying to essentially he's got his GED and all that stuff. As a person that doesn't exist, if he totally didn't exist anywhere, he wouldn't have been able to do that. They would have saw that as suspect. So he's still, that information's there. Jameson does still have the information about, about Peter Parker being Spider-Man. So it's a weird sort of thing.
Wait, how does he have it?
It's all on video.
But all got erased by magic.
How do you know that?
Because it's magic.
It never said.
Magic.
Again, how is it
magic? It's magic. That's my inherent problem with.
No, but I'm saying they only said people forget. They never said that every single bit of information would be to disappear.
Yeah, but
here's the thing: how are you able?
Work.
If you're able, how are you able to go for your GED and not have a social security number or any sort of data? You can just be this mysterious person from nowhere.
There's a lot of people
how is he able?
That.
If you live in New York, today, in order to even get an apartment, they need to do a fucking background check on you.
Yeah.
So how is it that he was able to do all this? I don't think any of the digital information is lost. I just think that everybody forgot it's there.
I don't know. This is what I think, because again, we've seen this in other stories, right? It does a clean wipe of everything. That's not satisfying, and that's why I don't like magic cures for this shit. Because that's for Manny, I'm with you 100%. But for a fact that's what happened. Everything got erased.
They wiped everything.
Everything got erased, and even though it makes no fucking sense. Think about it like this, right? Zendaya think about it. She's gonna be like, okay, I know I ended up with Spider-Man in the Statue of Liberty, but why? Because that did happen.
They obviously never forgot all the parts of Spider-Man. Here's the thing, like, again, it erased those things, but it didn't erase certain things. He's still wearing the necklace from the second movie.
No, it just erases the memory.
She still knows that Ned is there. So again, it erased all of Peter Parker, but again, it didn't erase all the things that he did.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean again, does that mean, obviously you're not going to go over this, but all that, it didn't seem like it wiped all the information that existed about him. It's just that everybody forgot that he was Spider-Man or forgot him.
Exactly. But that doesn't again, it proves my point why I don't like magic like that, because it did wipe all that shit out, even though it makes no fucking sense that it would wipe it out. But it did, Go ahead.
I'm with Tony. I think it's just a catch-all. It's like, if there's any correlation between Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and I mean, essentially, you can't have Ned sort of know Peter, because most of his interactions with Peter are due to the fact that he's Spider-Man and he's helping him out.
So, but here's the thing, like, also the other thing that they don't go over, again, it doesn't go over, is that obviously the things that he did as Peter Parker, as Spider-Man, still exist. Everybody remembers all the stuff. So does that mean that Ned and Zendaya knew that they worked with Spider-Man? They just don't know that it was Peter Parker.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
because remember, that's how it was in the comic books when Mephisto did the same thing, right? He did the same thing. People were like, okay, why am I working with Spider-Man? I don't remember how we met. Like that still happens. So they know they met with Spider-Man. They even said, like, there's a hole missing. There's something going on here. So I'm gonna guess it's the same thing. But again, that was stupid in the comic books too. And that reason Carlos, that's actually why I stopped reading Marvel for like 7 years. I'm like, that story was so dumb. I'm like, this is fucking you just
The One More Day
insulted my
story.
intelligence right now, you know.
Yeah.
And the movie did the same fucking thing, you know.
So yeah, like at the end of the film, you have Happy, and then they're like in Parker, and they're like, oh, how did you know her? Oh, through Spider-Man. He's like, oh yeah, I knew her through Spider-Man too. So it's like, so again, Happy knows that he was working with Spider-Man. He just doesn't know who Peter Parker is.
And that's a problem too, because
No, he doesn't know.
No, he should know Peter Parker was Aunt May's nephew. He should know that.
Mm-hmm.
So that part
It
didn't make
simply
any sense
stated, who are you? So I'm going to assume that Aunt May, maybe because Peter never existed, it altered Aunt May's whatever she did in her timeline.
Peter
But she
existed.
still ended
Peter
up.
existed.
Peter was never. He was not erased from existence. It's the knowledge that he is Spider-Man that was erased. The knowledge was erased. Those other interactions should still be there. So Happy
So then Tom
should
Holland.
know.
So him as Peter Parker was erased, and not Spider-Man, because
Spider-Man.
I'm trying to understand, how does Happy know Aunt May? Because remember when Happy went and said, "Oh, did you know her?" He was in Peter Parker-ish.
Yeah.
Well, no, the thing about it is, again, nobody forgot any interactions that they've done with Spider-Man. They just forgot the part that that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't remember. I don't think the spell was just to get rid of the knowledge of Spider-Man. I think it's just the knowledge of Peter Parker in general.
That's what it was.
Yes.
That's the fact that we're debating this right now proves the point of why magic like this is dumb. It's a dumb plot contrivance, you know?
Yeah, and they said it. They said it. Doctor Strange said it. Doctor Strange said it. He said everyone's gonna forget about you.
Yeah,
I think that was the whole point. It's like, you know, it's like it's messy because there's all this information that people know that you could correlate you to Spider-Man, that are digital, that are physical, anything. With the Avengers, but I guess their catch-all, and going to Tony's point and why he hates it, like the magic part of it is that we're just gonna do a catch-all spell that's gonna let everyone forget about you, but not technically Spider-Man. But people who knew you before Spider-Man are gonna forget you.
And then
And
then what about all the people that, again, it's like it's a very sort of specific spell, right? So what did it do? Did it also get rid of everybody's taking the footage of Peter Parker?
No, you know what? You guys are right. They erased the fact that they knew. You're right. I take that back. They did erase the fact that they knew Peter, because Zendaya didn't know who the fuck he was.
Yeah.
But again, dumb plot contrivance. It's not just with this movie. I hate when any story does that shit.
I think the one thing about a lot of it is that it's a very surface level explanation that doesn't make any sense when you start to think about it any deeper than what you would think. Again, did Doctor Strange mysteriously make that like, oh, get rid of all the information of Peter Parker? But then again, like, all the things that Peter Parker did within that world still exist. Zendaya still has the necklace on. They know Happy and Peter. He still says, "I knew her through Spider-Man." So all those different interactions, him working with Zendaya and what's his face, all that stuff still exists. Yeah. But that still doesn't explain any of the other information that's out there. Did this spell also magically get rid of everybody's fix everybody's iPads? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it did.
It erased all the photos. It erased all the iPads. It erased the Avengers headquarters where they had the repository where all remember when everyone bleeped out of existence because of Thanos, and they had like the pictures of the people of the Avengers.
Yeah, all the people that blipped out of existence. It's like, so the blip, it's weird.
It's stupid,
and they're never gonna go over this ever again.
No.
Especially when you think about all the silliness that happens with that TVA bullshit from the Loki film, that they supposedly go through all the different sides of it. Like this one, it's just they're gonna leave that thread hanging. They're like, I don't think about that. Now he's alone. Oh, you're gonna say, Dana?
Dude, but Yeah, I was going to say that I like the fact that everyone forgets whomever Peter Parker is, because it allows the characters who are already established and we know who are going to become villains to become villains. Ned ends up becoming Hobgoblin. Also, the dude who was Flash, isn't he ended up being a villain?
No.
Flash Thompson.
Well, he
No,
becomes Venom.
Yeah, Flash.
He becomes Venom. So
Yeah.
there you go. That's who's going to become Venom
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
And
next
he's
then we
gonna
have the
become Agent
symbiote.
Venom.
I want to say this. I want to say this, Dana. I don't have a problem with everything being reset. I have a problem with the way things were reset. That's my problem.
So, but then this would end up. My question would end up being for what ends up happening. I know I'm going down a rabbit hole, but my question would end up being for what happens with Doctor Strange, because we do know what happens in the trailer, and we do know that it's kind of copyish of What If. So if that Doctor Strange, for example, dies, does that mean that his spell that he cast in this universe
No, it doesn't
also
work.
No, it
goes?
doesn't.
No.
It doesn't work
Once
that
it-
way?
once-
Okay.
No, it doesn't work like that.
In general, when spells are cast, they're usually permanent. You know, they're not tethered to the person that did it, unless there was somebody that undoes the spell.
There are spells that you need to be alive for, but this is just one of those. Like, here you go. Here's a spell. That's it. You know.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a
Even
vampire.
since
It's like you kill the
permanent,
lead
it's-
vampire. Nobody's a vampire anymore. It's not like that.
It's not like the drop ship in Avengers 1 where you literally blow the drop ship up and it kills off all the monsters.
Yeah, no, it's not like
It
that.
kills off all the Jatari,
Right. Okay.
the MacGuffin ship.
So unless anyone else have anything about this, then we could just move on to the mid-credit and Tom Holland and the symbiotes.
Oh,
you mean Venom?
Tom Hardy.
Anyone?
Venom.
Tom Hardy.
Again, I mean,
Yeah,
already said
Tom
it was
Hardy.
fucking dumb. It was dumb. It was.
It might have been the dumbest part of the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
easily.
I'm disavowing any information that thing did that thing did for one reason. It was just to get people excited after watching that garbage second Venom film.
Venom movie.
Yeah, because literally at the end of the film, to get everybody excited about the new Spider-Man movie, they threw this tag on that he somehow magically just appears in the Marvel universe without having any sort of previous knowledge of whatever who Peter Parker is.
I do agree. It was pretty stupid. Oh, go ahead.
No, that could actually be the key. If they all have a hive mind, then they could still connect. Venom can still connect to that Peter Parker. No? Yes?
He just said that guy. He didn't even go, Peter Parker.
He says, I gotta find that guy.
I gotta find that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no. Like,
Yeah,
the hive mind, I don't think
No.
connects to multiverses. You know? That's too much.
That's what he said.
was
He
pretty
said in the end.
He said multiverse. He said that.
I thought he said multiverse because
Okay,
he's
no,
not
no,
from
no,
that
I'm
universe. So why would he
deferring
click
to
the
you.
TV to know that Tom Holland?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it would make the most sense because at the end he's licking Tom Holland, and you're like, why does he know Tom Holland? They're not in the same universe. He knew exactly who that was. Remember, he kept saying we share a hive mind, and he said to Tom Hardy, "I can show you just a little piece."
This is
and that's
the
what
end of
Tom
Venom
Hardy
because
was like, "Oh my
I
God."
didn't see.
Well,
I didn't
this
see
is the end of
I didn't-
Venom,
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't see Venom, so I don't know.
This was the gimme at the end of Venom. I feel like that gimme at the
It was
end
the
of Venom
actors'
and the end of this should be really just disavowed because it doesn't make any sort of sense.
I stripped
within
that from the record.
structure.
Yeah.
From the rest of the film.
So
I think they were just there to give people a little again to give you that nostalgia pop or whatever.
Yeah, I'm reading this
Yeah.
off of Wikipedia right now. As Venom tells Brock about the symbiote's knowledge of other universes, okay, a blinding light transports them from their hotel room to another room where they watch J. Jonah Jameson reveal Spider-Man's identity as Peter Parker on television. Okay, so at the end of that movie, they get blipped into this one. Okay, and the stupid. By the way, I didn't realize that's what Venom sounds like. I'm like, how can you take that seriously? That's retarded. You know, like really, that's what he sounds like.
It's like,
Like,
But
Jesus
yeah, they changed the
Christ.
voice from the first Venom to the second one to make him sound way deeper. But yeah, that is
Well,
that is what
you mean, you know?
he sounds like Cookie Monster. And even
Yeah,
Cookie
he
Monster,
does.
He sounds
even,
kind of goofy. He talks
even-
fast too.
You know,
even Cookie Monster would sound more scary than the Tom Holland Venom voice.
Tom Hardy, yeah.
Oh, good.
Tom Hardy. Tom
So,
Hardy.
and no one is excited for any kind of way this opens up. Giving
No,
us
but
new
I think
villains
it's
and making
it's
us
again. We're talking about if this happens, this is more of the dependent fucking Spider-Man again.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
You mean to tell me that the Venom in Spider-Man 4 is going to be a Venom from another franchise?
From
Come
another
on,
from another
know?
franchise, and now we're down the same road again.
Yeah.
To be honest, they should just disavow any of that information and just, if they want to have fucking stupid Venom show up in this shit, just have it show up.
I mean, they why set up Tom Hardy and Venom only to not have him be in those Spider-Man?
Oh my god!
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. That scene completely undid what could have been. And Tom Hardy has been seen around with the Spider-Man hat on, so he also played into this as if, oh yeah, I will have a bigger role in the future movies. And yeah, that scene completely just getting rid of him, that annoyed me for sure as well. So
yeah.
Well, he's not gone. He's back, but he's a little gone.
Yeah, and then another Tom Hardy's going to come in. The MCU version of Tom Hardy's going to pick it up like, oh, I remember all this.
Good heavens!
It would be nice to see a Venomish thing in there, but not this way. Just
not this way.
Not this